Dame Judi Dench, a 90-year-old actress whose name instantly conjures images of grace, fortitude, and iconic performances, is currently going through one of the most difficult times of her life. From her renowned appearance as M in the James Bond films to her strong Shakespearean parts, she dominated both stage and cinema for decades. But behind the scenes, something much more intimate is happening today. Judi has alluded to the possibility that she may be ready to retire from acting after years of silently battling a condition that has gradually altered her life. And for millions of followers, this shocking discovery marks the end of a time we all prayed would never come. The tale of Judi Dench starts in the sleepy Heworth neighborhood of York, where she was born on December 9, 1934. Two cultures influenced her upbringing: her Irish mother, Olaf, who had previously attended school in Dublin, and her English father, Reginald, a military physician. Long before Judi was born, their lives had converged at Trinity College, leaving her with a familial heritage steeped in both scholastic achievement and tenacity. In a Who Do You Think You Are? Episode from 2021, decades later, she learned that her heritage included surprising traces of European aristocracy, originating from the Brahe and Billy families of Denmark. She was distantly related to renowned astronomer Tycho Brahe through this bloodline. It appears that performance and inquiry were ingrained in her DNA because her extended family tree also contains working performers, historians, and storytellers. Growing up with her older brothers Peter and Geoffrey, Judi went to the Quaker Mount School, where she was taught to respect kindness and simplicity. The theater, however, was already ringing. Her father cared for the performers at the neighborhood theater. They were dressed for the stage by her mother. Additionally, their house frequently had the feel of an unauthorized green room. Here, Judi took her first steps into acting, playing the Virgin Mary before she was out of her teens and making appearances in the York mystery plays throughout the 1950s. She had previously envisioned herself as a set designer, but that all changed when she saw Peggy Ashcroft as Cleopatra command the stage. Something deep was sparked by that performance. She joined the ranks of future greats like Vanessa Redgrave after being accepted to the Central School of Speech and Drama after being further inspired by her brother Jeff's journey. Her future had silently taken shape by the time she graduated, decorated with numerous awards. The stage was her calling. In 1957, Judi Dench made her stage debut as Ophelia with the former Vic Company, marking the beginning of her career. A young actress who is still discovering her voice. Her performance was praised by critics for its unadulterated promise, suggesting that she will eventually reach her full potential. She soon made her London debut in the same production, and for the next 4 seasons, she immersed herself in Shakespearean realms, playing parts like Juliet in Romeo and Juliet and Catherine in Henry V. As her reputation gradually developed, she even went on tour in North America and Europe. She joined the Royal Shakespeare Company in the early 1960s and made appearances in The Cherry Orchard and Measure for Measure in Stratford-upon-Avon as Isabella. During these years, she was always on the go, participated in repertory seasons in Nottingham and Oxford, toured overseas, and took on an increasing number of parts that put her depth and fortitude to the test. Television quickly followed. She starred in dramas like Parade's End, The Four Just Men, and Z-Cars during the 1960s. In 1964, she made her cinematic debut in The Third Secret. She then had a brief role in A Study in Terror. However, her first big break came in 1966 with the BBC's Talking to a Stranger, which won her a BAFTA and established her as one of the most talented young actors in Britain. When she was offered the lead in the musical Cabaret in 1968, it was possibly one of the most unexpected turns of events. She auditioned from the wings because she was terrified of singing in front of an audience, but after the curtain rose, she won over critics with a performance that was full of emotions. A new sort of prominence emerged in the 1970s and 1980s. Returning to the RSC, she performed a variety of roles that astounded spectators, ranging from the sorrowful Duchess of Malfi to the fiery Adriana in The Comedy of Errors. Her 1976 performance of Lady Macbeth, which was so powerful and eerie that critics referred to it as one of the best of her generation, constituted a turning point. That the years went by, she dabbled in film, television, and even directing, bringing the same daring to her work that she did to her acting. She continued to reinvent herself despite obstacles, such as an injury that prevented her from playing Grisabella in Cats. She acted in films like 84, Charing Cross Road, starred in the heartfelt series of Fine Romance with her husband, and returned to the National Theatre for iconic roles like Cleopatra. She was a powerful and profoundly human presence that had established itself as a mainstay of British culture by 1989. Her career was already full of memorable incidents that will reverberate for years to come. In 1995's GoldenEye, Judi Dench made her debut as the first female character to portray M, a scathing, unyielding authoritarian figure who is said to have been modeled after M415 head Stella Remington. This came after a lengthy period of silence in the Bond franchise. Her steely presence was welcomed by viewers, who thought it was a daring change for the series. In addition to changing the perception of Bond's world, she won another Olivier Award for winning a heartwarming performance in the BBC comedy As Time Goes By, and triumphantly returning to the stage with some night music. Her portrayal of a widowed Queen Victoria yearning for connection in Mrs. Brown, released in 1997, was a significant turning point in her career. The movie, which was supposed to be modest, surprisingly won over both critics and viewers. It turned out to be the act that got her a job in Hollywood, a triumph she would later jokingly and warmly discuss. Dench seems unstoppable after that. She reteamed with director John Madden for Shakespeare in Love, striking a mix between high-profile movies and Bond escapades like Tomorrow Never Dies. For just a few minutes, her stern, powerful Queen Elizabeth I was seen on TV. Nevertheless, it was sufficient to earn her an Oscar and a BAFTA. Following stage work, which included a Tony-winning part in Amy's Opinion, film after film solidified her reputation as a talent capable of carrying out any character with nuance. However, tragedy struck in 2001 when Michael Williams, her husband, passed away from cancer. She may have been halted by grief, but instead she used it to fuel her creativity by filming Iris, the tale of Iris Murdoch's deterioration, and then the shipping news. She received additional honors and recognition for these parts, which were marked by resiliency and sadness. From Wilde's biting humor in The Importance of Being Earnest to MS' frigid authority in Die Another Day, Dench skillfully transitioned between genres throughout the early 2000s. She gave children's stories a voice, captivated viewers with Ladies in Lavender, and made an unexpected foray into science fiction with The Chronicles of Riddick. New highs followed, including her frigid portrayal of Lady Catherine in Pride and Prejudice, her ongoing reimagining of M with Daniel Craig in Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, and her terrifying, iconic performance in Notes on a Scandal. Her collaboration with Cate Blanchett was hailed by critics as one of the decade's best acting partnerships. As the years passed, Dench continued to perform on stage, trying out novel projects and shocking crowds with an audacity that gave her career a sense of perpetual renewal. Through victories, heartache, and rebirth, she persisted in creating a legacy characterized by bravery and a subtle, timeless genius. Some people's power and energy clash with a reality that is too heavy to ignore at some point in their lives. That moment for Judi Dench started subtly in 2012 when she initially disclosed that she had age-related macular degeneration. She discussed it at the time with an almost unyielding positivity. She maintained that she only needed to move on, that it was doable, and that many others carried the same weight. However, the years had other ideas. What started off as a test she thought she could beat gradually evolved into something far harsher. Her world gradually grew dimmer. She was unable to conceal the extent of the loss by 2025. On CNN's Fearless podcast, she made a gentle but agonizing confession that no actress ever wants to make. "I am unable to see." She acknowledged that she was unable to drive, read scripts, or even go outside without assistance. She went on to say, "I'll walk straight into something," which is a devastating admission from a woman who used to have complete control over stages and sets. She had alluded to the escalating conflict even earlier in 2022, as she talked candidly about how acting, which had always come naturally to her and been joyful and exciting, had become a difficult task in an interview with Louis Theroux. She was no longer able to scan her cues or read her lines. Her speech was now read aloud by friends for hours on end, allowing her to retain it in her renownedly acute memory. "I can keep it if you tell me a line," she said. However, Even that gift was insufficient to completely protect her from the truth, which she subsequently stated with unvarnished candor. "No, I'm not even able to see." She never faked when reporters inquired about prospective roles. Sometimes there was rage, but more often there was a silent, impotent frustration. She acknowledged that she could no longer move across a stage with the ease she had always taken for granted, and that entering a set had become frightening. "I am no longer able to see on a movie set," she said to the Daily Mail. "I can't see to read." The statements were not dramatic. They were the unvarnished admissions of a performer who was witnessing the basis of her art disappear. Nevertheless, Judi Dench refused to give up her spirit despite everything that was weighing on her. She still had a spark of fire inside of her that would not go out. She frequently emphasized to others, and maybe to herself, that getting older should never be a reason to give up on life. She told your magazine, "We've got to keep going," refusing to allow the world to see her as a passive observer. However, there is an unavoidable truth hidden underneath that resiliency. Her deteriorating vision has subtly hinted at what she herself never wanted to acknowledge, that a career marked by courage, genius, and unparalleled presence is coming to an end. It's possible that neither she nor the business are prepared to envision a world without Judi Dench. However, that reality has already been written by life. Sometimes a legend's biggest struggle takes place in the darkness that gradually grows around them rather than on stage. And Judi Dench is tackling that darkness one day at a time with all of her grace and perseverance. Judi Dench's life has undergone a subtle change. It's a kinder chapter rather than a conclusion, one molded by acceptance as opposed to praise. She has not disappeared from the world that adores her, even though her acting career has dropped to almost nothing. Rather, she has only entered a new type of spotlight that allows her to go at her own speed. Even as her vision deteriorated, her artistic spirit remained unwavering. She has dedicated the last few years to promoting Shakespeare, The Man Who Pays the Rent, her 2023 book, which aims to re-establish her connection to the art that initially influenced her. Drawing from a lifetime of reciting his lyrics, she speaks warmly about the bard at book festivals and literary events. These visits serve as a reminder of her extensive training in classical theater and go beyond simple advertising engagements, and the happiness it still gives her. Since traditional roles are now out of her grasp, Dench has sought solace in environments that let her be herself. Conversational engagements have proven a natural match, like her future onstage conversations with rocker Jaws Bandruff. They only ask for her voice and her memory, no scripts or exact targets to strike. And her extraordinary capacity to entertain and engage an audience. She appears more at ease in these more private settings, as if opening up about her life has turned into a show. However, some of her most meaningful events take place away from the spotlight. A pillar of her life continues to be her love of the natural world, particularly her treasured forest of remembrance trees. Every tree is a living memorial to a loved one that endures as memories fade. Planting a tree for someone keeps their presence alive, she has said many times. The recollection gets even more lovely. And that location still serves as her haven, a peaceful haven where thankfulness and sorrow coexist. Judi Dench continues to have a lasting influence on British culture in spite of everything. She continues to participate in cherished customs like the Chelsea Flower Show and expresses her views on society, art, and theater with the same unwavering determination. Her influence does not diminish even as her sphere gets smaller. This chapter is full of significance and introspection, while being slower, quieter, and more melancholy, and the distinct elegance that has always characterized her. The bravery to learn to live again when life abruptly changes its rules is a quiet kind of courage that rarely makes headlines. The loss of her vision has put Judi Dench, who spent a lifetime perfecting control on stage and film, in uncharted territory. Her once natural independence has given way to vulnerable times that she never thought she would have to confront so publicly. She used her well-known wit in her interview with Trini Woodall on the Fearless podcast, but it was hard to overlook the truth that lay beneath her comments. She acknowledged that in order to navigate the world securely, she now needs someone by her side. "If not, I'll bump into anything," she jokingly said. However, there was a hint of the battle she now faces on a daily basis, even amid laughs. Dench's path is remarkable because she doesn't hide behind shame or quiet. She has instead decided to address macular degeneration directly, reminding people that hundreds of thousands of people in the UK alone suffer from it. Her unreserved telling of her tale has made her an unexpected advocate for people with disabilities, particularly older women, in a field that too frequently ignores them before they are ready to go. Her attitude towards aging has always been fearless. She is irritated with the idea of retirement. She has repeatedly stated that age is simply a number, resisting the notion that creativity dwindles with age. Her determination appeared to grow stronger even as her vision faded. Throughout her latter years on TV, she was fiercely independent, not hesitant to play oddball, naughty parts, or to question historical representations that she felt were inaccurate. As a young actress, she used her voice with the same passion, demonstrating that conviction is unaffected by age. Yes, there is sadness in what she has lost, but there is also a profound and poignant resilience in the way she keeps going. Honest, unvarnished, and unwaveringly true to who she has always been. A legacy that never goes away. Judi Dench's influence is still as strong as ever as she gracefully enters what many consider to be the end of her incredible career. Her work has had a lasting impression on audiences all across the world, spanning decades, styles, and eras. Her roles, which range from strong monarchs to astute spy masters to haunting heroines, possessed both strength and vulnerability, changing the way that audiences perceived women on television in terms of humor, grief, and courage. In the fabric of British society, Dench is not simply a legendary performer, but also a beloved figure whose warmth and candor made her seem both recognizable and recognizable. Even though her time in the public eye may be waning, the legacy she leaves behind, one based on bravery, honesty, and a lifelong commitment to her craft, is immeasurable.